Travis dropped Utopia a week ago, and instead of rushing out a video breaking down the album, I've taken this past week to give it multiple listens and assemble two lists: the hits and the misses. This isn't a full review. I need a lot more time with an album to give a full review. More on that at the end of this video. So here are Utopia's hits and misses in my opinion. Let's start with the hits. Hyena is a great way to open this record. The Maggot Brain sample fits in beautifully. Definitely gives me rodeo vibes, throws you for a loop at the start of this record. Not really what I was expecting, but I really enjoy it. Thank God was originally a Donda track. Travis did a great job making this song his own. To me, it doesn't just sound like a Ye song. You can hear those elements, but it's still a Travis Scott song for sure. I really like the production here with the colorful tones that pop throughout the track. Modern Jam is one that's probably going to grow on me over time. The beat is all about the drums, and I can definitely see the Black Skinhead comparison from Yeezus, which I'm not a fan of that song, so yeah. Modern Jam is still a hit, just not my cup of tea as of right now. Future Jalen here. After seeing the Circus Maximus movie and seeing the music video for Modern Jam specifically, I'm a fan. It's a bop. It is actually a bop. Love the song. My Eyes is my favorite track on the record. It's a vulnerable ballad that's split into two halves, with the first half being slower and sounds like a song straight off of Frank Ocean's Blonde. Travis speaks on feeling a lack of love and has a nice sample feature. Then it transitions into a faster-paced, futuristic Blade Runner type beat with trap drums, and Travis continues to get more vulnerable with his verse here. It's really fantastic. Most of his bars involve how difficult it can be to juggle fame and creativity, and you can hear that clearly in this line. This is one of the most vulnerable tracks Travis Scott has ever made, and to me, it's excellent. God Country is another track that was straight from Donda, and this one is very apparent. I dig the beat and Travis's flow on this one. It seriously feels like I'm listening to Donda, and I absolutely love it. Another one of my favorites on this album. I originally had this as a miss. It starts off really hot and then quickly cools off, like ice cold. Initially, it sounds like a song straight off of Astroworld, and Travis's part is straight fire. But then as Cardi comes in and you think he's about to do his thing, we get this weird, deeper toned version of him. Like he's trying to sound like Future, which results in his verse being completely trash. That's why I initially had this as a dud, but I find myself coming back to it just to listen to the first half of the song because it's that good. I didn't ever think a Beyonce and Travis Scott song would work, but it actually does, and that's because the production on this track is so damn good. Super colorful while staying slow the whole way through. I really don't care for any of the vocals. Yeah, it's nice to hear Beyonce, but I don't know. It just moves a bit too slow for my liking, but the production is what saves the song for me. There's so much going on, and it's heavily layered with a bunch of different details. The kind of chant that is consistent throughout the whole song reminds me of the same kind of melody from Exodus's And Then There Were None. I don't know if that was intentional or that's just me, but that's just what it reminds me of. Circus Maximus. God bless Mike Dean because the synth at the end elevated this song from a miss to a hit. It's that good. The rest of the song just isn't very interesting to me, but the production at the end is definitely a huge highlight. Travis made a full-blown movie titled after this track. I saw it, and I'm giving a full breakdown of the movie that's coming out next week. Carousel features a bit of Dave Chappelle, and it's a nice slow-paced vibe throughout the entire track. This one is not a favorite of mine, but it's still a pretty good song. I really don't have much to say about this one. Schizo is a solid trap song. Travis and Thug come together to make a good, middle-of-the-road trap track. We all knew this album was going to have at least a few trap songs here and there, and this one is one of the better ones. Not really my cup of tea, but still a solid track nonetheless. Lost Forever is one of my favorites on this album. The drums on this beat give it an old-school vibe, and West Gunn's verse in the second half just adds into that feeling. I really like Travis's verse in this one. The beat really complements his flow, and it sounds fantastic. I really dig the beat in Love. It sounds like you're entering a massive haunted house or Bowser's castle in certain areas. Travis lays down some nice bars in this one, and Kid Cudi, he's kind of just whatever here, but still a great song nonetheless. For K-pop, initially, I didn't think this track fit on the album, but after a few listens, it does actually blend in pretty well. And it's a catchy song, at least Bad Bunny and The Weeknd's part. Nice, bright bop to enjoy the remainder of your summer with. Telekinesis was a song that's been floating around the internet for the last couple of years, and it originally featured Ye and Juice WRLD. I prefer the beat in that version because the bass is much more present. The Utopia version swaps out Juice and Ye for Future and SZA, and the beat is much more tame. The bass is pretty disappointing. The beat builds up in multiple places, but the drop is just kind of soft, which is a complete opposite of the original version. If you've heard that version, then you'll know what I mean. Future's part is alright, but the reason this song is a hit is simply because of SZA's part. SZA is the sole reason this track is worth listening to. She makes an entrance that sounds like the heavens opening up, and it's amazing. Her verse carries this celestial feeling throughout the whole thing and breathes a ton of life into an otherwise kind of boring track. The Marvin's Room flow that she uses at the tail end of her verse is so damn good. The last hit here is Till Further Notice, which is the last track on the album. And what a way to end this album. This song gives me big Astroworld vibes, and I love that we get to hear Savage one more time. His verse here is much better than on Topia Twins, which I'll get to that in the misses. And the beat complements his flow perfectly. Travis's verse and the overall production takes me back to Astroworld, and I just love the fact that he added this track onto Utopia. Great way to finish out this fantastic album. Now for the misses. Sirens. Sirens is interesting. I really like the beat until the area where it just flips out for whatever reason. The bars on this one are forgettable, which trickles down and makes the rest of the song pretty forgettable. Maybe that'll change later on. The Drake outro, I'm just going to include that on the next song. Here we go. Meltdown. Oh boy. The Drake outro that leads into this is stupid. It's very Aubrey Graham. Drake using the first verse to just take shots at everyone is just whatever. But the slow beat and the flow is pretty catchy. I can't lie. I want to really like the Star Wars blasters in the middle of Travis's first verse, but they have no relevance to the lyrics. Keep me a rebel, shorty, a therapist, Papa. If he was really sold on using those sounds, he probably could have found a way to incorporate a Star Wars line or two. I don't know why he didn't, but it's stupid. The whole thing is clearly just an attempt at recreating a hit as big as Sicko Mode was, but I think it resulted in a miss. Drake's verse is the highlight only because of how catchy it is. The rest, pretty lame. I Know is very forgettable to me. It kind of sounds like if Drake tried to make a Travis Scott song. I don't know. I don't want to hear about Travis trying to have drunk sex at 5 a.m. Like I said, forgettable. Topia Twins, Travis knew he needed to have some trap within this album, like I said earlier. So he just mailed it in with this one. Very forgettable, which is a shame because I would have liked to hear 21 Savage on a more interesting track. But we did with Till Further Notice at the end. So it is what it is. And that's it. Those are my hits and misses off of Utopia. Let me know what some of yours are in the comments below. I will have a review of this album coming eventually. Music is one of those things that and I'm sure many of you have different opinions on as time goes on. So what I think about this album right now is going to be much different in a few months. I'm going to start doing album reviews, but they're going to be 6-month later reviews. So don't expect a Utopia review anytime soon. In the meantime, like I mentioned earlier, I did see Travis's new movie, Circus Maximus, in theaters, so my review of that will be dropping next week. If you want a Spotify playlist that's always updated with what I'm currently listening to, follow the Galactic Grizzly playlist. The link is down in the description below. I'll talk to you all next week. Peace. My Eyes is a vulnerable ballad that splits into two halves. It's a vulnerable